From Centennial Ice Arena, we are live for Marquee Sports Network High School Community Showcase here live as part of the Chicago Wolves partnership. Alongside Anthony Pasquale, we'll have Wes Anderson down on ice level tonight. I am Max Anderson. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight for a huge rivalry game between New Trier Green and Loyola Gold. Anthony, these two teams are bitter rivals. Campuses separated by just a quarter of a mile. The tradition runs deep.
It absolutely does. And when you add in the aspect that these teams are separated by just 2 points in the standings, it brings so much more to the table for this iconic rivalry matchup.
You talk about not just being separated by a quarter of a mile. Many of these kids grew up playing with each other, against each other, on the same bantam teams. Then they decide where they go to high school. Some go to New Trier, some go to Loyola. They meet on a big stage like this in the third game so far in the regular season.
Absolutely. And New Trier has had the upper hand. They won both of those first two meetings. They're also back-to-back state champions. So Loyola definitely will have a chip on their shoulder tonight in this rivalry game. On their home ice, finally, we'll see if they can get the job done.
Meanwhile, Loyola, like you mentioned, right there in the standings, they've played a couple of more games, so New Trier really in the driver's seat. If Loyola can find a way to get 2 points here tonight, it really puts them back in position with about 6 games left in league scheduled play to chase down a regular season crown.
Absolutely. And, you know, the playoffs are really when those must-win games start. But for Loyola, if they want that number one spot, this feels like a must-win game for them against a bitter rival in New Trier.
Number 2, number 3 in the state is Loyola. New Trier, the undisputed number 1 team in the state right now, especially after a big win last night against Glenbrook North.
Without a doubt. Coming out of the gates to beat Glenbrook North. Very emotional game. Are they going to be able to do it back-to-back against a team like Loyola tonight? We'll find out.
There's a lot to look forward to, but before we get going, we're going to, as part of this pregame show, a pre-taped interview with Adam Cheris that aired back in October as part of the Scholastic Sit-Down, part of the SHL Network family of podcasts. We'll bring that to you after a short break.
And we are joined by head coach of New Trier Green, now in his third season as the bench boss, Adam Cheris. Adam, thanks so much for hopping on the podcast.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm happy to be here with you guys. It's exciting that you're doing this, so happy to be a part of it.
Listen, we're happy to have you on. Defending state champion, you guys are off to a pretty good start on the season, 3-0 in the SHL, and then 10-0 for all the games you guys have played. What's made you guys so good yet again? I mean, you know, different players come in so often, especially with you guys have how many varsity teams you have, but that green team just always seems to be right up there in the mix for a state championship every season. Why is that?
Well, you know, I mean, we do have a big talent pool. That's the obvious reason. We have a lot of players in this area, you know, from Wilmette and Winnetka who, you know, filter into New Trier. And you know, we also get a lot of the kids who have, you know, gone Central States or AAA route, and you know, they kind of get beyond U16 and start to look at other options. Playing with their buddies and, you know, playing for a very good high school team. So, yeah, you know, certainly having the talent pool we have to draw from is a huge advantage. You know, it always kind of restocks itself. You know, there are, like I said, a lot of good programs in the area, and we happen to have 2 of them that filter to us. So that's you know, a blessing in my mind. We do talk about this within our club as it's kind of a curse as well for, you know, other guys who've tried to you know, move up the ladder, so to speak, and you know, are very much in contention for the higher teams, and you know, get blocked by a kid who comes in. So it is a curse at times as well. But you know, that is a big reason, and you know, you take that and combine it with the history we've had, the winning tradition that's been around for many years, and you got guys who really want to go out there and continue that, create their own legacy. You know, so that's what we kind of challenge them with each year is, hey, you're a different group. This is about you guys and who you want to be, not about what we've been. So yeah, good situation to be in, and you know, certainly keeps us among the top teams every year.
So you played at New Trier back in the 80s, correct?
I did, yes. Many.
Sorry to remind you of that.
Thanks, Luke.
But you know, just from a coaching standpoint, going from a player to a coach, are there any morals that have changed? Any gameplay that has significantly changed back from your time when you played for New Trier?
Well, I think it's a very different era that we live in now. And one of the big, you know, parts of what I've been doing with our program is focusing on our culture as a club. You know, we've had a winning tradition, and it's something that, like I said, we've had phenomenal coaches. Bob Melton, being a guy who won a ridiculous number of championships, and just a great coach. And what I was tasked to do was kind of work on our culture as well. And I think that we want to have a program where everybody feels they're a part of it. I think that's in line with where culture is today. Where we really are a brotherhood now across the board. We're up to 6 teams this year, 4 at the varsity level, 2 at the JV level, and it doesn't matter what team you're on. You're a Trevian, and you support each other, and you go to bat for each other, and you're hoping for good things for everybody on every team. And I think it's a very positive place to play now. We hear a lot of that from the players of like, hey, this is really fun, really excited for everybody. Lessons you learn along the way, you learn from everybody, from the coaches I played for, both as a youth hockey player at Winnetka, up through New Trier, playing at prep school, playing in college, and coaching with guys along the way. You learn a lot of different things from them, not just in terms of like strategy and X's and O's, but also in, what gets the most out of a team, what motivates kids. And, I've always thought of myself as a really good motivator in creating a really good bond between the players. I always found that the teams I played for that were connected or close were the teams that went really far. The teams that had a superstar, but, there was no buy-in, were teams that fizzled out pretty early. So we've kept an eye on that and really tried to establish a bond every year that keeps us strong, keeps everybody motivated. It's a long season. We go 70-plus games, lots of tournaments, lots of travel. It is a long season. Dylan can attest to that after seeing us at the end of last year. You get worn out. Guys are tired. And how do you stay strong the whole time? So it's continuously motivating them on my end to keep them, chasing the carrot, so to speak.
Looking back at the preseason invitational, you guys outscored your opponents 39-6, ended up winning the whole thing. What were some strengths, just gameplay-wise, that stood out to you early on in the season?
Well, what I've been, talking about with our group and with anybody who's asked is just the depth we have this year. In the last 2 years, you could say, hey, we had a really strong goaltending or really strong offense or really strong defense. This year, we're strong in all 3 categories. And I mean really strong. It's like, I haven't had depth like this where you can truly put anyone out there in any situation and, you're feeling very comfortable with it. The biggest challenge for us early on is going to be finding that gel, that, or chemistry between lines as we work guys around and try and get a feel for who fits best with who. You're going to have games that are really tight where we feel we can do a lot better. And you're going to have games where you see what we're talking about and what we're thinking, where they just go out there and absolutely light someone up. Our goal is to play, similarly to how we did in the start of games against, say, Stevenson and GBS, where we just come out of the gates flying. We do not like having slow starts, but we've had them. And again, that's part of figuring out who you're playing with and knowing tendencies of one another. But I loved once we kicked it into gear. I mean, that's what we feel we have. The question is, will we be able to bring that out on a nightly basis? And as a coach and the hockey director, that's my goal, is to find a way to see that every night where we go out, we're never flat in the beginning of a game and get all over somebody. That's a key thing for New Trier.
Welcome back to Centennial Ice Rink. We hope you enjoyed that interview with Adam Cheris, always insightful and so giving to the Scholastic Sit Down. You can find that on YouTube at the SHL Network YouTube page every single week, highlighting high school hockey here in the state of Illinois. Well, Anthony, it is time for hockey, a huge rivalry game. We talked about it in the open. The place is packed for a Thursday night at 8:45 p.m. It doesn't matter whether it's a weekend or a Thursday night, the students are going to pack.
Yeah, and people are continuing to come in and out of the arena here. It's an exciting atmosphere without a doubt. The students are going to be loud tonight, and both teams are getting ready for a huge rivalry matchup here on Marquee.
Mentioned rivalry matchup. These teams have faced each other twice so far this season. It was New Trier coming out on top both times by the scores of 4-1 and 4-3. But we say it every single year. It does not matter who is the favorite. Upsets happen every single year. This game is different. Think your Michigan, Ohio State, and high school hockey. This is the rivalry.
Without a doubt. Scott Zarallo, the coach of Loyola, said before, anyone can beat anyone in this league. That's what makes this league so special. And Loyola's going to have an opportunity to chase a team that's ahead of them and try to knock them down a peg.
So starting in net tonight, one of the interesting storylines, it was Wyatt Schmidt last night in New Trier's big win against GBN. But getting the start tonight is Mark Pauly in net. Incredible stats, even better than Wyatt Schmidt, despite Wyatt Schmidt might be the best goaltender in the state. But for Mark Pauly, the stats are even better.
Without a doubt, when you go from Wyatt Schmidt to a guy in Mark Pauly who has a 7-1 record and a goals against average below 1, and that's your backup, that's your second best goalie, what a luxury it is for Coach Adam Cheris and the New Trier Trevians to have.
Similar situation on the Loyola side. You've got Charlie Trapp, who last year as a freshman lit up the state, one of the best goaltenders in the state as a freshman, which is unheard of at this level. You do not typically see that at the high school level. He was thrust into action because Declan Smith, their other goaltender who's back this season, missed the entire year with an injury. And now when I tell you they have two #1 goalies, Anthony, they have got two #1 goalies.
Yeah, I think you can make a legitimate argument that we have 4, maybe the best 5 goaltenders in the state suiting up in this matchup tonight. But you look at Charlie Trapp, a guy who had an excellent freshman season, like you mentioned last year, put on some weight and some size, fills up those pipes a lot better. He stops anything that comes his way.
And for more on how Loyola is going to approach tonight's matchup against New Trier, we're going to send it down to ice level for Wes Anderson standing by with Loyola head coach Scott Sorallo. Wes.
Thanks, guys. Coach, on a 5-game winning streak, you guys are averaging over 4 goals per game. What's been working so well on the offensive end?
We're hunting the puck on the forecheck and the back check. It's all about pursuit of the puck. If we do that today, we'll win today.
Talking about winning today, you guys lost both games you've played so far in the SHL. What's the big difference tonight to come up with a victory?
I think we're a very different team. Just from our roster makeup, there have been some changes, and I just think the intensity that we've had in 2025 is just different. So I hope it shows tonight.
All right, good luck tonight, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Wes. Scott Sorallo talks about the intensity. Both of these teams come into play in the SHL on 5-game winning streaks. Now, folks, if you're new to high school hockey and tuning in with us on Marquee Sports Network, these two teams play in the Scholastic Hockey League, the #1 league in the state of Illinois. They also play games outside of the league, which they oftentimes dominate. Inside of the league, you've got 8 of arguably the 10 best teams in the entire state in the same league. Winning 5 in a row is no joke.
Without a doubt, and they're up against opponents like this nonstop. You look at New Trier coming off a game just yesterday that they knocked off Glenbrook North, who was nipping at their heels in the standings. Now they have an opportunity on no day's rest to do the same thing against Loyola on their home ice. It writes itself. It's a heck of a matchup.
Looking at some of the skaters tonight, some of the players you're going to look for tonight, the Herstrip brothers, Connor and Jack. Connor leading the team in points with 25. His brother Jack, third on the team in points with 20. Of course, Connor leading the team. He is a dynamic player for New Trier.
He is, and he has a hat trick against this Loyola team earlier this season. So it's a matchup that he's familiar with, he likes, and he's certainly a name to look out for on New Trier, and so is his brother as well.
Meanwhile, for Loyola, it's one on the front end, one on the back end. Peter Luknicki leading the team, 22 points, 9 goals, 13 assists. Matt Klein, a defenseman, second on the team in points. You're going to see him get involved in the rush a lot tonight.
Absolutely. That's one thing Loyola does just about better than anybody in the state is get their defensemen involved on the offensive rush. A ton of shots you'll see from the point, trying to get some deflections, get some traffic in front of the goaltenders. They know that is their recipe for success, especially against that good of a goaltender in green.
Well, the horn you heard in the background means we are done with warm-ups, and it is time for us to turn it over to public address announcer Sam Schwartz.
Cusack and Michael Verdun. The lines people are Evan Davis and Colin McGregor. Today's clock operator is Dylan Ward. The official scorer is Sam Schwartz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise to table, remove headwear if wearing, and face the flag on the new Trier goal as we honor our country and those who serve with an orderly rendition of our national anthem.
The only hockey game in town tonight, New Trier Loyola, right here on Marquee Sports Network. Once again, our crew, Wes Anderson down on ice level with all of our interviews. Anthony Pasquale to my right. I am Max Anderson here. It is Thursday night, and there's 1,500 people packed into Centennial Ice Rink, Anthony.
Yeah, I mean, I'm standing 2 feet to your right, and I can barely even hear you. We have an electric atmosphere tonight for, like you said, the best game in town, and it'll be exciting to watch New Trier and Loyola go at it here at Centennial Ice Rink.
Right before we turned it over to public address, we talked about Mark Hawley starting in net for New Trier, the two-headed monster for Loyola, Declan Smith and Charlie Trapp. It is Declan Smith getting the start tonight. They have gone 1-for-1 the entire season, and talking to Scott Serralo, that's the plan for the foreseeable future. He feels like two rested goalies the entire season that can make a huge move.
Absolutely. You look at both of these teams, they have excellent goaltenders. Loyola electing to go with Declan Smith, 7-3-2 on the season so far at 12 starts with a 2.56 goals against average.
So 17 minutes up on the clock. Again, if you're new to high school hockey, we play 17-minute periods at the high school level. There is no ice cut between the first and the second period. It is only a full ice cut between the second and third. These two bitter rivals, separated by just a quarter of a mile, get set to get started here in their third edition of this game, and we're underway with Ethan Baker taking the puck off the opening draw for the Trevians, and immediately in on Declan Smith, and you can see the physicality from the opening drop.
Without a doubt. I mean, that was quite the crash to the net. A couple of bodies hit the ice there, and you're looking at that type of speed you're going to see from both teams in this game tonight. That was Ethan Baker starting to rush for the Trevians, just going right at the goaltender to start.
Draw to come to the right of Declan Smith. Immediately taken away by senior Matt Klein, 3-year varsity starter for this Loyola Gold side. Looking to lead his team to a state championship. They've had good looks at it the last couple of seasons. Teams they felt like might be able to make it. In the end, it's New Trier having won the last two state championships and well on their way to a third. But a lot of hockey to be played before then. Hipsch drops it in from the point. Now Luke Chu in the corner. Falls to Garrett Chong. Right back to Luke Chu. Chong battles below the goal line. Jack Dwyer forces a man off the puck and eventually taken away by Jack Blazkowski. Blazkowski weaves through the neutral zone, tries to go around Marino, but he takes it away and escorts it out into the neutral zone. Here's Hipsch. Now Nolan Naggets, he had 2 goals in that 3-2 win last night against Glenbrook North. Almost too many men on the ice for New Trier. Instead, it'll be an icing.
Yeah, you mentioned Nolan Agnett's an extremely good game last night against Glenbrook North. The reason they were able to take control in that rivalry game, and now 24 hours later, they got another one on deck.
They can do serious work towards locking up that President's Trophy here in the regular season of the SHL with a win here tonight.
No
They'll be in
doubt.
good shape, but they can put some serious distance between them and everybody else, and almost more important than any of these Trevians, a sweep of the Loyola Ramblers. Gio Anamoni with the puck, gets it out to the neutral zone. Peter Lucknicki, he's pulled down to the ice but stays on his feet. Pedraja tried to play it deep and will. Now having an issue finding an edge was Julian Gabal. Puck falls to LaRue. Not able to get it out. Kept in at the point by Kyle Yang. Puck just waiting at the side of the net. Eventually taken by Harrison Miller. Miller. Now Naggets. Centering pass a little bit too hot. Collected by Pedraja, but not able to get it any further. And Lucknicki makes sure that puck gets deep so they can go for changes.
I've noticed this in a couple of our rivalry series so far this year, is that the first few minutes of the first period are very much a feeling out point. The skates are moving a little bit too fast for the sticks right now.
Connor Hirsch, no sooner I said it, trying to cut a little bit too quickly. That's cleared and will be once again icing against Loyola. Another rule change. I should say rule difference between high school hockey and other levels is when you ice the puck, you can make changes, unlike in the NHL where you're locked into the 5 you got on the ice. And one other one to keep an eye on, which will often throw people for a loop when they're watching high school hockey for the first time. A puck directly out of play from the defensive zone is not a penalty. So those are the two big ones. If you want to watch a lot of NHL hockey but not much high school hockey, those are the two biggest differences.
Without a doubt.
Jack Dwyer gets the puck deep. Andy Finger now with the puck for New Trier. Hirsch absorbs a check. You can see Loyola stepping up their forecheck here, trying to get something going on the offensive end.
That was Jack Dwyer delivering a huge blow on the near side to Hirsch. Physicality up a notch.
Finger up the right wing with speed. He'll carry below the goal. Declan Jones able to dispossess. Now Loyola in transition. Hot puck, not able to handle it, was Pearson Daverman. Finger finds Hyman. Connor Hirsch trying to create space. His brother Jack able to volley it below the goal. Hirsch curling off the half wall, or trying to at least, had Finger at the point, instead drops it below. Right back to Dylan Hyman. Now 4, 5, 6 bodies come together in the corner. Hirsch trying to get it off the wall. He's got Knight waiting for it at the point. Instead, that's taken below, and it's going to be a penalty. A first one of the game going against Loyola, and New Trier is going to get an early power play.
Yeah, it looked like Anthony Donato there committed the offense, and when you lift your hands up to say it wasn't me, but your stick isn't in your hand, that's a pretty good example of hooking.
So your power plays brought to you by RSM, the power of being understood, and the penalty kill brought to you by Hannah Vanderblug Law here on this community showcase, brought to you by Chicago Wolves, of course, in partnership with Marquee Sports Network. Can't thank you enough for joining us. Our entire J&M Media crew here to bring you this live hockey game from Centennial Ice Rink. Gunther Hutchin gets the puck. Now Naggets off his multi-goal game. Harrison Miller's shot and into the breadbasket. A little collision and pushing and shoving. You'll see plenty of that throughout the evening.
You absolutely will. I want to touch on this New Trier power play just for a second. They don't have a ton of penalties that they've been able to get power plays on, but they do hold the highest percentage in the SHL of power plays converted into goals at 22.2%. So for Loyola, got their work cut out for them in terms of killing this one.
And Max, you alluded to it right before the game started, just how loud and the atmosphere inside this building, in between whistles. I'm on the opposite side of the ice of you guys. I can barely hear you. Just goes to show you how crucial nonverbal communication will be in tonight's game.
Bless, you said it. It's not the usual atmosphere. They get good crowds at games, but not like this. It's something you have to adjust to. Hutchin back to collect for New Trier. Now Nagget's up the right wing with speed, the left-handed defenseman up the right wing. And for Hutchin, point blank, he scores! Gunther Hutchin gets New Trier on the board. On the power play, it's 1-0.
We talked in the open about the way Loyola is able to use their defense to generate rush offensively. Take a look at Gunther Hutchin, what he was able to do. A loose puck, picked it up just past the blue line, in alone, walks right into that shot, drops it in between the 5-hole to put New Trier on top.
And Anthony, that started behind his own goal line. He made a nice move to bank the puck off of the net before all that started and just flew down that right side and gives the Tri-Man their first lead of the night.
So New Trier draws first blood on the power play. Early here in the first, how will Loyola respond? You see Luknicki quickly on the forecheck trying to create some action for Loyola. Here's Herstrit 3-on-2. Active stick from Matt Klein, but he loses an edge. Excuse me, not Matt Klein, that was Patrick Dine. Dylan Hyman below the goal. Now Herstrit throwing another shoulder. Every hit brings the crowd to their feet. Herstrit's shot blocked. Now Hyman. Marino carries high in the slot. The shot deflected. Still bouncing around. Jack Herstrit gets it back. Backhanded shot. He scores! Jack Herstrit makes it 2-0.
And rushing right to the student section to give them some love. Jack Herstrit stuck with this play. The first shot did not quite get through. Then he took it to his backhand and fired one into the back of the net. New Trier with 2 quick ones. This place is loud.
Guys, wouldn't be surprised if Loyola decides to take a timeout here. 2 goals against in the last 50 seconds. This place is buzzing. Wouldn't be surprised if head coach Scott Sorrell takes a timeout to try and calm down his team here, even though it looks like they'll play on.
We'll play on, no timeout taken with 11:49 left here in the first period. Loyola's got to settle down. New Trier, the #1 scoring team in the league and in the state.
Is 7th of the season by number 89, Gunther Hutchin. Assisted by number 8, Nolan Nagget.
And the run for Nolan Nagget's continues. He picks up another point on the assist on the first goal of the game. Now Ethan Baker with the puck.
Seconds of the first period. New Trier's second goal. Scored by number 13, Jack Herstrit.
Hips trying to play it off the boards. Ends up hitting the referee. Puck pops out. Hips able to collect. Nagget's rink wide. Finds Hips. A lot of bodies on the ice for Loyola. See a wave. No too many men on the ice in that case. Here's Chong. His shot. Just missing the mark. Baker wins it right back. Turns and fires, but his shot gets blocked again. Now in transition come the Ramblers. Daverman, his shot, he scores! The wrister from Daverman beats Pauly to the glove side. It's 2-1.
Boy, oh boy, did Loyola need that. Pearson Daverman streaking up the far side, firing one into the back of the net. That puck had eyes, and thankfully for Loyola, it's 2-1.
Anthony, as you mentioned, a much-needed change of pace for the Ramblers there. That's their first shot on goal. We're over 6 minutes into this game, a goal that we know Pauly would like to have back, but the Ramblers finally have some life here in the first period.
I think he might have caught Pauly a little bit by surprise. He's just over the blue line when he ripped that wrist shot, and that had some pace to it, and it just stuck by Pauly. So back to a 1-goal deficit for the Ramblers. And Wes, Anthony, we've done enough of these games to talk about how important it is to settle in these rivalry games, these big games, this one on Marquee Sports Network. Your legs get moving a little fast. Anthony, like you mentioned earlier, we'll see if these two teams can settle in.
It seems like they've settled in a little bit, and the offense is just pouring on.
Finger between his legs, draws to his backhand. Drops it below the goal. Collision in front. New Trier fans want a penalty. They're not going to get one. Now with some space comes Blazejowski. Trying to weave through traffic. Eventually it's DeGroot that steers him off. He'll go for a change. You can see Loyola trying to create offense with their forecheck. Haven't quite been able to establish possession, but you can clearly see that as the game plan.
Yeah, that was a job well done by Loyola. Forced New Trier to just dump it. Loyola's going to get possession now, and now they can start a rush.
Lucknicky tries to drop it into the zone, not able to. That was Anthony Donato standing a man up at center ice. Miller turns and fires. Now Hans Huber trying to curl off the wall, but taken away by Lucknicky. His pass just a little bit too far out in front of Gavin Orzakowski. Sneaks past 9 out of the zone. Loyola has to regroup. Pass off the wall from Max Kading to himself. Kading shot blocker away, but that had a lot of pace on it.
It did. Yeah, Loyola swarming here on the forecheck. It seems like that's going to be the game plan.
Almost 4 bodies ahead on the forecheck to get play started. This shot gloved cleanly by Pauly.
What that means, though, is if they are going to be that aggressive on the forecheck, if New Trier is able to, think of it like in basketball, if you're able to break that press, you're going to have an odd man rush coming the other way. So it's a dangerous game to play against a team like New Trier that has so much speed.
Yeah, Anthony, that's a great pickup. One pass can easily beat that aggressive forecheck, but if they come in strong like that, it's going to give the Trevian defense a lot of problems tonight.
Puck spun around the boards. No sooner than I said it gets past the point and dine. Herstritt trying to chase it down in the corner in front of the Zamboni door. Now you see New Trier putting the pressure in the neutral zone, trying to force the turnover, but able to play through it. Is Orzakowski, another shot on goal, turned aside by Pauly. Here's Herstritt in transition.
It was a nice save. Pauly didn't look like he was ready for it, but he was still able to get in a position to block that one away.
Just leaks out of the zone as Nuggets will have to reset for New Trier. 7.5 to go here in the first period. It was a quick start. New Trier got the first 2 if you're just joining us. Huge response by Loyola just a couple of moments ago to make it 2-1. On comes Matt Klein, rink-wide pass, fortunate bounce, finds Blazejowski, his shot left pad save, and Garrett Chong there to erase. Now a turnover, Jack Dwyer can't handle it. Off the fortunate bounce. Trevian's going for some changes, weaving through the offensive zone. There's Ouyang, now carrying it to the corner. Chong, backhand pass, can't get it through. And Klein will send it back out to the neutral zone. Looking for a huge hit was Jack Dwyer on finger. He just missed. Now Lucknicky able to force the turnover. One time from Klein all the way through traffic, and Pauly able to swallow it.
Nice save made there to kind of deny the rush. Loyola, their bodies are flying all over the ice. They seem to have answered the initial rush from New Trier, and they've certainly responded over the last 4 or 5 minutes of game clock.
Again, a one-timer all the way through to Pauly, and Loyola starting to find some seams and getting some guys in front looking for some deflections.
Yeah, a big thing I think for goaltender in New Trier, Mark Pauly, is going to be to control those rebounds. Could you see Loyola rushing toward the net, trying to generate something maybe off the pad, off the chest? But if he can control those rebounds or swallow them up and create those face-offs, I think that's going to be a good play for Mark Pauly.
Shot from Tyler LaRue gets deflected. This one sending all the way down. Played by LaRue. Luke Chu along the near half wall, leaves it for Baker. Baker centering pass, tried to get it into Chong, who's in the slot. Active stick from a Rambler, prevents it. Ramblers nearly at a 2-on-1 break. Active sticks abound. Baker sends it all the way back to Hipsch. Crafty play. Here's Garrett Chong. Chong skates wide, escorted by LaRue. Gets it back to the point. Hipsch, his one-timer just missing the net. Marino the other side. Brings it up the left wall. Marino again, not able to get a second shot off, and breaking it out, it's Max Kading. Kading trying to weave through traffic. Marino quick to get back after he came up from his defensive spot. That misses everybody and will trickle far enough for an icing. So we get a breath here, Anthony, in what's been a high-octane, fast-paced first period.
I noticed just on that last rush, New Trier's kind of figuring out a different way to respond to Loyola's forecheck. Instead of waiting behind the net for those Loyola bodies to rush them, they're playing it off the boards on the side, quickly getting it out of harm's way. It'll be something to keep an eye on how Loyola adjusts to that adjustment.
It's a game back and forth. These two coaches know each other very well. And Scott Serralo and Adam Cheris bringing it into the zone. Is Kading, not able to get a shot off. Adam Cheris in his third season as New Trier's head man. Back-to-back state championships. How do you like that for your first 2 years as a head coach at the high school level?
Yeah, really hard to imagine a better start to his tenure than what Adam Cheris has been able to do, but it's the foundation that's been set in place for this program for years that date beyond Adam Cheris's time. They've been one of the best teams in the state for as long as I can remember.
Of course, Bob Melton at the helm for 20-plus years for the Trevians. Several state champions to go with it. Adam Cheris continuing the tradition here at New Trier. Ouyang takes the puck for the Trevians. Harrison Miller in the corner. Now one time from the point, gets a deflection, just misses the near post. Oh, so close to tying this game were the Ramblers. Chris Gall comes up from his offensive spot, gets backfilled. Hans Huber carries it deep. Huber getting it across, active stick. Zakowski prevents the one time and trickles back into the New Trier zone. Now exchanging in the neutral zone. Daverman trying to find it. Eventually it's Pedraja, turns, fires. Fortunate bounce to Harrison Miller, whose shot just misses the cage. Backhanded, finds Knight. He goes backhanded shot, slides by the far post. Couple of fortunate bounces, very nearly setting up another goal for the Trevians. That just trickles out and offsides.
Yeah, you couldn't imagine a better bounce for some of these New Trier players to get on their stick like that. Miller had a really wide open look at the left side of the net, just put it a little bit wide past the left post. But even if it was on net, I don't think Declan Smith was going to be able to get over to stop that one.
Won by the Trevians is the face-off draw. Knight carries it in and just a touch offside, so we'll bring it right back out. Draw just outside the Loyola zone. It's a stalemate, eventually trickles out to Matt Klein. Klein, the captain for this Loyola Gold side, trying a centering pass, but Hyman waiting for it. Comes back to the point, Donato tries to play it along the half wall, taken away by Knight. Here's Jack Herstritt. Herstritt tries to drag between the legs, couldn't complete it. Gets free in the slot. That rebound puts over the crossbar on the follow chance. Puck still bouncing around. Active Stitz trying to prevent it and eventually deflects out into the neutral zone. So we found a bit of level here over the last couple of minutes. Anthony, see, settling into the pace on both sides is now Hyman trying to change that dynamic. Stretch pass, not able to connect with Lucknicki. Active stick, Orzakowski forces the turnover.
Yeah, there's that forecheck again from Loyola.
Gavin Orzakowski relentless on that forecheck. LaRue comes up, he gambles, loses, just does slow down Chong enough to prevent the 2-on-1, but lost his stick on the way back was Anamoni, and we're going to get a penalty because of it, and now Hyman gets in his face. Anamoni might not have really had much of a choice after he lost his stick.
Yeah, that's one of those you feel like you have to make. You'd rather commit that penalty than allow a wide open shot when you can't defend the way you did. And then obviously taking a little bit of a response to that was Hyman, but credit to Loyola for not responding or retaliating and getting themselves an additional penalty. But it's a daunting task to kill a New Trier power play. They're already 1 for 1.
Mentioned 1 for 1, number 1 in the SHL at 22% on the season, 10 of 45, I should say 11 of 46 now. Look across the ice, just 4th in the SHL for Loyola on their penalty kill, 85.2%. That's a number I know. I've talked to Scott Sorrell. He would love to see improve, especially as they head toward postseason play. Here's Connor Herschritt. Tries to play it delicately to Chong. Waiting for it the entire way was Patrick Dine, and he clears it down ice. Minute 38 left on the power play.
This is a really good opportunity for New Trier to re-grab some of that momentum before the break, or for Loyola to stand strong with the momentum they've built over the last half of this period.
Herschritt drops for hips. Tried to wrap it around the goal of Declan Smith, but again able to clear other Ramblers. Lurking for a shorthanded opportunity was Gabal, but he'll retreat. Now Herschritt with a minute 8, loses control. Dine back for the Ramblers, not able to get it out. Tried to play it up the middle, winding up. Nagitz gets a deflection up into the netting with a minute to go on the power play.
So if you're Loyola, you've absorbed that first unit's rush. You're halfway through this power play with about a minute left in the period, a minute and 8 seconds left in the period, and a minute on this power play. You are doing anything you can to get to that break with the score unchanged.
As a reminder, if you're trying to plan your breaks between the first and second period, only a 3-minute intermission. There's no ice cut, so we'll take a short TV timeout, but don't go anywhere at that intermission. Puck comes back to Nagitz at the point. Interference, the entire Loyola crowd looking for it, and they don't get it. They can't believe it. On follow-up shot from Knight, and absorbed by Declan Smith. I have no idea how we didn't see an interference call in that scenario.
And you see a little scrum after the whistle. The actual biggest hit delivered there was from Loyola to his own man, just to keep him away. You don't want to go 5-on-3 here.
Yeah, something that you get with these rivalry games. Things get chippy after the whistle. Discipline going to be a huge factor in the next 2 periods here tonight, guys.
Good call, Wes.
59.6 to go in the period, 51 on the power play. Puck comes back to Nagitz. Drop for Knight. Goes cross ice, Harrison Miller. Fires it towards goal, gets deflected. LaRue now in the corner, 3 or 4 bodies come together. LaRue gonna rifle it off the glass. He's able to get it out, and giving it chase on the short-handed is Daverman, alertly coming out of his goal is Pauly. 21 to go in the power play. Miller coming up the left wing, tries to sneak it by Max Kading, but he was ready for it and clears it again.
Savvy move from Pauly to get out of the net, denying any bit of a rush that Loyola could try to generate shorthanded.
Now Nagitz, one more rush on the power play with 5 to go. Gets stuck here on the near wall, and that will do it for the power play. Loyola back to full strength, and they're able to kill that second penalty. 3 seconds to go in the period. Trying to get one more shot off. They will not. That's the horn, and after 1 period of play, the New Trier Trevians lead 2-1.
And what a period it was. Super high octane, and I'm excited to see what the second period will bring.
We'll take a quick timeout. Come back with second period action in just a moment. You're watching the Community Showcase, brought to you by the Chicago Wolves on Marquee Sports Network. Welcome back on Marquee Sports Network. Got Wes Anderson down on ice level. Anthony Pasquale to my right. Max Anderson here with your play-by-play. Anthony, New Trier came out super hot first part of that first period. Great response in the second half of the period from the Ramblers.
Absolutely, and you can kind of figure out that Loyola's game plan right here is to be aggressive on the forecheck and put bodies in front of Mark Pauly when they send pucks to the net. That has worked for the back half of that first period.
So intermission time is over. We'll head into second period action. The teams will flip sides. So Mark Pauly will head down to our left. Declan Smith now to our right. Now both teams have their goaltenders in front of their home cheering section. 17 minutes back up on the clock. Second period action here on the Community Showcase. Partnership with the Chicago Wolves. Us here at J&M Media producing the game. Jimmy the Wiz Olson, our executive producer. We've got Luke Jordan, our clock assistant. Gerard Boris, our assistant technical director. And of course, Matt Freeman on the camera, our great J&M Media crew. One period down, 2 to go in the rivalry game here in the state of Illinois. Back underway. Zach Hipsch with the puck to get us started. Luke Chu controls in the neutral zone and drops it back to Matt Klein. Donato rink wide, misses his target. Falls to Peter Marino. Played high off the glass by Donato. And dropping his glove on it is Pauly just 25 seconds into the period.
Now, if you're a hockey fan, you've heard for years that this second period is the period of the long shift. But when you have defensemen that aggressive on the forecheck like we've seen from both teams there in the first period, this period of the long change could end up creating some odd man rushes for each team down the stretch.
Draw to the right of Pauly. Taken by Marino. Now Hipsch. Another collision between Chu and Uyang behind the play. Excuse me, Chu and McCauley. Now Donato. Chu weaving through traffic. Skates wide past Klein. Loses the puck as he goes behind the goal. Chong follows up. Block shot by Klein, and he'll chip it out. Lucknicki giving it chase, but that goes too far. No, linesman's going to say no icing. A little bit surprised, thought that would be the call, but a break for Loyola. Baker, outlet for Chu. Chu trying to weave through. Marino comes away with it. And again, Matt Klein chipping it out of the zone. Daverman. Pulled over Blazejowski. He's going to try to wrap around, centering pass, but nobody there for the Ramblers. And the Trevians move in transition.
He had Jack Dwyer there. If he saw him at the last second, a little backhand drop pass into the slot, Dwyer would have been in alone.
And Anthony, you talk about the aggressiveness of this Ramblers forecheck. You see right there, the Trevians, before they went offside, had a 3-on-2 brewing. So something to just keep in mind if you're this Trevians offense, that you're going to have chances coming the other way throughout this second period.
Uyang with the puck for New Trier, comes right up the slot but gets cut off. Harmless shot into the glove of Declan Smith. Mentioned both these two teams, Anthony, red hot in the SHL, both riding 5-game winning streaks. Two of the traditional powers here in the league and in the state trying to assert their dominance here as we get into the latter part of January.
Without a doubt, and this is their third and final matchup of the regular season here, so New Trier has a 2-0 advantage, not only for standing purposes, but just for the pride of it. Loyola really needs to get this win.
Yeah, still the battle for the possible number 2 spot in the standings. As New Trier in a good position, but still some games to be left and some tough ones for New Trier. They still got another game with GBN. They've got another game with Ignatius. As very nearly breaking away was Connor Herschritt.
Really good stick there by Gio Anamoni. Stopped probably a 2-on-0.
Here's Herschritt, high slot, turns, fires, just missing the cage. Big rebound off the boards, taken by Jack Herschritt. Centering past Nagats, his backhanded shot misses the cage. Fouled up Uyang. Uyang shot deflects to the near wall. And big whack of the stick, Blazejowski not able to get it out initially. Herschritt keeps it alive, winds up, and a glove save by Declan Smith.
Flashing the leather there, Declan Smith, to the pleasure of the LA student section down to our right. Love that save from Smith.
Anthony looking like Max Anderson last night in the SHL Network.
Oh, guys, stop it. Stop it.
Unfortunately, you can't go 2 for 2. There is a net in front of us tonight.
Well, Wes thought he was cheeky when he asked me earlier if I was bringing my catching glove tonight, but of course with the netting, not to happen. If you weren't with us on the SHL Network on YouTube last night, had some fun on the broadcast, had a puck come up by us, a little bit of pace, and your favorite broadcaster happened to snag it barehanded.
To be fair, it would have been crazy had you had a glove on. It had to be barehanded. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Hey, you said it, I didn't. 14:26 left in the period. Draw just outside the zone. Linesman giving a couple of extra words to the flanking wingers. Here's Knight. Carrying into the zone, Knight off the shin boards of Donato. Matt Klein instead, it comes to Max DeGroot. Shot blocked in front. I don't think Declan Smith ever saw it. Another shot towards net, hits bodies in front. Klein battling and wins it away from Hutchin. Oh, and he takes a huge hit. Just from an awkward angle, Finn DeGroot lowering the boom on Matt Klein. Again, DeGroot looking for a hit and dislodges the puck from Klein. Finally, Julian Gabal said, I've had enough of that. Got to throw my body weight around. Shot from Fringer. Black now trying to break a man loose. That was Andrew Blesser Jr. trying to break away, but slowed down at the blue line. Stretch pass, stepping in the way and cutting him off Donato. Here's Harrison Miller. Carries into the zone for the Trevians. His shot off the skate of Dine. Now Donato locking up the stick of Miller. Miller able to win it right back. Centering pass, just not able to connect with Hans Huber. Here's Hips. His shot hits a shin board in front. Marino turns, fires, backdoor chance. Trying to get a backhanded shot off was Harrison Miller, and it was the defense of Loyola that didn't let it.
Beautiful job there by Patrick Dine to just get his stick and put it near the crease to get the puck out of harm's way there. A wide open opportunity denied by Dine there. But I just got to say, Loyola has to do a better job of defending the slot. We've seen New Trier walk in the slot a couple of times to fire shots off. That's the easiest place to score a goal from. If you're Loyola, focus a little less on getting the puck up against those boards and defend the slot.
Loyola was trying to run a face-off play out of the zone as you saw Gavin Orzakowski dart up the ice. Not able to win it, so couldn't execute it. Connor McCauley finds the puck, sends it down ice. That'll be icing. 12:31 left in the period. His brother, a stalwart at GBS last year, was instead Connor opted for Loyola. So, you know, a little bit of rivalry here within the SHL and the McCauley family.
Sure. And we've kind of seen this game go back and forth. New Trier really had momentum for the beginning of that first period. Then Loyola answered the back half of that first period. Right now it is all New Trier.
Pedraja wins the puck. Now Miller, Hips was sneaking back door, couldn't get it to him. Huber comes away with it for the Trevians. Drops for Pedraja. There's a man back at the point, instead drops it down below. Klein trying to sandwich him off the puck, loses an edge. Here's Miller, turns, shoots, fought off by Declan Smith. Anthony, you called it. It is all New Trier right now. They are pressing for that third goal. At the point, Marino fires towards net, turned aside by Smith, and he'll drop a glove on it and take a whistle.
Yeah, smart move by Smith there. Obviously, A, take the whistle, but B, he was pretty far out of his net, so if he didn't cover that up, New Trier might have ended up with an opportunity to put that third goal in the back of the net.
And you guys, you talk about how dominant New Trier has been in this second period. We're just over 5 minutes into this second period, and Loyola has yet to record a shot on goal. We know that they obviously want to change that as the second period continues.
It's one of those moments in a game where you just got to hold on. They're going to try to run a play off the face-off draw. Again, not able to execute it up the left wing. Comes right back deep. 2-4 checkers right in for New Trier. Puck comes loose. Sharp angle. Bounces up loose on the backside, but couldn't get a second shot off. Now Ouyang, his shot deflects to the corner. Chong behind the goal. Up top, Nagitz bluffs a shot, had his man beat for a moment in Daverman, but couldn't get a shot off. Drops to Chu in the corner. Jack Dwyer gonna pin the puck there. Baker slides it up the wall to Nagats. Across to Ouyang. Ouyang tries backdoor, one pass too many. As LaRue picked it off and cleared the zone. Now coming right back, finally getting that shot on goal for the first time this period as Pauly had to turn it aside. This puck missing everybody, heads into the Loyola zone. Loyola wants it put back into the New Trier zone, and that's exactly where we'll go.
Yeah, this is a huge face-off for Loyola because they have not been able to generate any type of possession. They've struggled with those zone exits. They've even tried to run a number of plays off the face-offs, but they haven't been able to win the face-off. That's the easiest way to get possession in this sport, and Loyola needs one right here.
10:44 to go. Draw to the left of Pauly. Comes to Klein at the point. Bounces to Gabal. Eventually taken out by the Trevians. On comes Luke Chu. Leaves for Baker, clears some space. Baker towards net. But Donato takes it away. 3-on-2 if he hurries up the ice. Good stick work to slow him down by Ouyang. And just a touch off sides is Max Kading.
Yeah, I don't think Kading realized just how far ahead Donato got on the rush, but a good job by Donato to not only have a stick down on the ice to stop that rush from Ethan Baker, but to turn it in to a 3-on-2 going the other way. Obviously lost the handle of it, but a nice play nonetheless.
Hyman able to kick it to a man. Comes across tonight. It's our 5th game as part of the Community Showcase on Marquee Sports Network. We've had some good ones. A couple at Allstate and one over at Mount Prospect Ice Arena. It's been a fantastic partnership between the Scholastic Hockey League, Marquee Sports Network, Chicago Wolves, J&M Media, everybody coming together to get these games live on Marquee Sports. Draw one by the Trevians, comes the Finger. He'll flip it high and out of the zone. Chris Cox sends it back to the New Trier end. Finger comes away with it. Shuttled along by Herschritt. He throws his body around, trying to win the puck. Does. Backhanded pass through everybody. But in the alert stick of Lucknicki, makes sure it gets back to the neutral zone. McCauley waiting for 3-on-1. Loyola's trying to hurry. Here comes Connor McCauley. He skates, whiffs on a shot. Turned over, trying to keep it in the zone, but he can't. Orzakowski as it just made its way out.
It's the equivalent of the air ball right in front of the student section, too.
Locknicki turns, shoots, and right into the Trevian logo for a whistle.
And guys, something we talk about time and time again here in the second period, the amount of snow buildup that happens because of the lack of the ice cut. You see there a few interchanges where players miss the puck, whiff on the puck, or just try and make a pass and it doesn't go anywhere. Just something to keep in mind as these next 9 minutes transpire here in the second.
And I wish we could get a nice cut between each period. That is, I know it's time restrictive and ice slot, but man, the way these players play these days, the amount of power that these players have at this level at this point really cut up the ice. And as we get to the latter part of the second period, you're going to notice some significant snow buildup, especially in front of those benches. As I look in front of the goal of Declan Smith, there's a significant amount there as well.
Yeah, and you often see some plays that could be icing and the puck gets stopped by the snow, which could be a momentum changer as well.
Miller turns and fires, ricochets, falls to Hipsch. Hipsch carries all the way down, absorbs the check at Dwyer, plays it along to Pedraja. Donato rings it around the boards. Looking for Blazejowski, instead Hipsch gets it into the slot. Pedraja's one-timer, didn't get anything on it. That volleyed off the boards and out. Icing initially indicated, never got far enough as Marino had to play it. New Trier trying to find Loyola in a change, but Donato gets back, slows down the rush. Dancing around multiple players is Gio Anamoni. He rips a shot, right pad save, pops out into the slot, but no second chance for the Ramblers. On comes Orzechowski. Puts it in on the net of Pauly. Now turns it around, falls to LaRue at the far point. LaRue drops it off the boards, looking for a good bounce. Centering pass, shot gets in on Pauly. Huge collision in the crease, and the goal comes off its moorings. And you see a mob of New Trier Trevians surrounding. He gets a nice escort back to the bench, does Cooper Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson was the victim of a couple of big checks there, and he ended up right in the stomach of goaltender Mark Pauly. And anytime you get close to that net, that defense takes exception to it 9 times out of 10.
Draw to the left of Mark Pauly. Won cleanly by the Ramblers. Comes to LaRue. He'll rip a shot on goal. It was well high of the crossbar. Anamoni absorbs a check, kept it alive for a moment, eventually trickles out as Blesser has to play it for the Ramblers. Anamoni once more. Finally able to get it deep for the Ramblers. Squeaks by the stick of Blesser up the half wall and out. Oh, a huge hit in the neutral zone. There's Julian Gabal trying to set a physical tone for the Ramblers.
Yeah, some of the Rambler skaters look a little bit tired. Hopefully that gives...
Now Gabal able to force a turnover, point blank, backdoor chance, couldn't get it on net as Blesser was on his offhand. Played across to DeGroot. Pulls to his backhand, he loses an edge. DeGroot coming away with it in the corner. Plays it around, finds Kading. McCauley not able to get it out past the point of Ouyang. Now makes another man miss. Ouyang shot and glove save. No, quick whistle. Wow, not a clean save there from Smith, but gets bailed out by the referee.
Loyola needed that whistle so badly. They were unable to change the defense for what seemed like 2 to 3 minutes out here on the ice. I know Anamoni was on the ice for quite some time, and he was the one who delivered that quick swing as New Trier tried to fight for the rebound that actually was there.
That was not a clean glove save right down there in front of Wes Anderson, our rinkside reporter. Former standout goaltender himself back in the day. I think my hands are good, you should see his.
I feel like that's one of those things that should go up with our sponsor reads that we have to say every game.
Hipsch plays up the near wall. McCauley plays it deep. That misses everybody, but no icing. Lochnicki throws a big hit. McCauley following it up for the Ramblers.
Now Loyola's done a pretty good job as of late to keep some pucks in their offensive zone. Now the shots on goal have to come.
Lochnicki. A lot of guys on the ice for Loyola. Almost too many men. Now Connor McCauley, point blank, tries a stuff attempt. Kept out, and again a quick whistle.
Yeah,
That
puck's still loose.
That puck was way loose. We could see that clearly from our broadcast spot.
See, it's tough because offensively you have the instinct to see a loose puck, you go after it. Defensively, you hear the whistle, you start protecting your goaltender. But when that whistle comes inadvertently, it's mayhem out in front of the net.
So after we had 3 goals in the first, I think it was about 8 minutes. It has been a stalemate since. Period started with 6 straight shots on goal for New Trier. It was Loyola that's come right back. And even the score now pops up in front of the crease, but not able to get a second shot off for the Ramblers. Here's Herstritt. Herstritt 3-on-2. Throws it in on Smith, sticks it aside. Jack Herstritt with it for the Trevians. Klein fighting up the half wall. Eventually Daverman gets it but couldn't get it out. Herstritt wraps around the goal. Dwyer eventually comes with it. Now Daverman. Volleying off the boards, turned around Daverman, but carrying it forward is Orzakowski. Cabal plays in the corner finger with 4:30 to go here in the second. That misses everybody and will be icing. We'll head back into the New zone.
Starting to see that the game transition into more of that sloppy play. We haven't seen either team be able to cleanly enter and exit the zone, which has created a lot of opportunities for these big hits, a lot of loose pucks. Expect that to kind of tighten up as we get closer to the third period.
4:24 to go, draw to the right of Pauly. Pops out and once again will go down, but Declan Smith initially wanted to play it, but with two Trevians inbound, will drop his glove on it.
Yeah, I think that's one. Declan Smith wants to move the puck there. You don't necessarily want to give the Trevians an offensive zone face-off here. We know Loyola's trying to run a few set plays off the face-off. Let's see if they're able to execute that here right now.
Especially at this point in the game, right, Wes? Maybe later in the third period, you're down a goal. You might try to play it a little bit further, but still middle towards the end of the second period. Play it rather conservatively. In the corner, Dine. Pops out to Declan Jones. Pedraja wheels and fires and gets it out of the zone. Offsides the call with 3:47 to go.
Yeah, Declan Jones fired that right off of Max skating as he was trying to exit the zone. Just trying to dump it in, but ended up a little friendly fire there at the blue line.
Matt Klein again losing an edge. We've seen him, he's one of the best skaters on this Loyola team. We've seen him lose his edge quite a few times here in the period. Deflection right in front of the crease. Not able to get it on net. Donato tries to chip it off the glass. Cooper Nelson coming up. That puck just does get out of the neutral zone, says the linesman.
Yeah, New Trier doesn't seem too happy with that call, but from our vantage point, it looked that way. Looks like a lot of tired bodies on the ice here. New Trier obviously played last night, a highly emotional game against Glenbrook North. They were able to win it. Loyola has been off for a couple of games, but just trying to keep up with these Trevians can tire you out.
Centering pass, Harrison Miller. His shot misses wide. Turning, firing, goes all the way across, comes to Leknicki. Donato absorbing the check, trying to position himself to break out for Loyola. Here's Orzakowski, volleys it off the glass, not able to connect, and icing the result.
I've seen more incidental collisions with the officials in this game than I have seen in any other contest we've seen so far this year. Just a testament to how much effort and speed these skaters are playing with.
Yeah, Anthony, it's just a testament to just how fast and how quick this game is right now. Something that you expect in a big rivalry game like we have been having here tonight.
Hipsch with the shot, and it's absorbed by Declan Smith, I should say.
Both teams electing to go with the goaltender who has played fewer games this season. And notice I word it that way because I don't want to say backups, because these two teams have four of the best goaltenders in the state. And they've been up for the challenge. Declan Smith and Mark Pauly both turning in excellent games in the cage.
Anamoni able to force it out for the Ramblers. Come 2-on-2. Not able to get anything moving forward is Loyola. Pass completed. DeGroot sandwiched off the puck. And Blazejowski forces it out. Dwyer plays it down below. Battle in the corner. Comes to Anamoni. Tries to play it towards Pauly, but gets stopped on its way. Now DeGroot trying to break. Hutchin on the breakaway. Backhand. Big right pad save from Smith. Keep it 2-1. Still a scramble in the crease. Marino comes away with it for the Trevians. He'll drop it below the goal. Remember that save as we move along. Lejowski just took a big whack at it, trying to get out of the zone and whiffed. DeGroot. LaRue trying to force it out. Kept in by Luke Chu. Minute 40 to go in the second period. After this period, we'll have an ice cut. So a bit of a break. We'll have an intermission for you. We'll have Wes Anderson and Anthony Pasquale breaking down all the action from the second period. So don't go anywhere during that break. Now bodies come together in the corner. Julian Gabal got pushed hard in the back, stays alive. Kading rips towards net from an awkward angle, but nothing completed. That shot gets fought off with a minute to go in the first. Here's Chu. Chu with speed, one of the best skaters in the state. That one coming towards us, and if there wasn't netting, for the record, that was coming right at us.
It sure was. We would have had to get the mitts out. It's kind of interesting. We saw the way this game started. You were thinking it might be like a 7-6 type of game, and since then, I don't know if it's the defenses that have settled in. I don't know if it's the goaltenders. I don't know if the offense is getting back ahead of themselves. Skates can't catch up with their sticks, but it's turned into a defensive battle here at Centennial Ice Rink.
Herscher, what a centering pass, one-timer Nuggets, and that's the save of the game thus far. Declan Smith snatches it out of midair.
The righty leather being flashed here at Centennial Ice Rink. Look at that save here by Declan Smith, getting a huge cheer from the Loyola student section right in front of us to our right. That was excellent right there.
36.9 to go here in the second period. Draw taken now by Loyola. With speed comes Daverman. Comes a Herstrit. Nuggets carries it through the neutral zone, trying to get one more rush for the Trevians before the end of the second period. Anamoni forces him off the puck. Now battle in the corner with under 10. And you see Dwyer's going to be content to just try to hide that puck in the corner. That's the buzzer after 2 periods. It's 2-1 New Trier.
2-1 New Trier after 2, but man, was that an intense period of hockey. No goals scored, and it still feels like the best show in town.
So we'll take a timeout. We come back with the intermission show. Anthony Pasquale, Wes Anderson breaking down all the action from the first 2 periods. You're watching the Chicago Wolves Community Showcase on Marquee Sports.
Welcome back to the Chicago Wolves Community Showcase on Marquee Sports Network. We're in between periods. New Trier on top of Loyola 2-1 after 2 periods of play. He's Wes Anderson. My name's Anthony Pasquale. And Wes, what are your takeaways from the first 34 minutes of hockey?
I mean, that first 17 minutes was hectic, right? We had, the first 8 minutes, 3 goals. I thought this was going to turn into a little bit of a shootout, but both teams settled in as we expected they would, and really started to get into their defensive sets, started to calm down a little bit, really was able to absorb this crowd, and we had a great defensive battle there in the second period. New Trier came out 7 shots without Loyola, really having any type of offensive momentum there, and then almost as soon as I said that live on the broadcast, Loyola ripped off 7 straight shots. So good ebb and flow going back and forth between both teams, and it's just some great hockey to be watching.
Without a doubt, we saw New Trier control maybe the first 8 or 9 minutes of each period, and then the back half was more Loyola. Do you expect more of the same here in the third period, or do you think Loyola is going to start this one fast?
New Trier did play last night, so I was actually surprised to see that they had the legs that they did coming right out the gate, and we talked about it too. Surprised that Scott Sorrell didn't use that timeout after that second New Trier goal. Right, they scored 2 goals in a matter of 55 seconds.
Yeah.
Not sure what the exact time was on that, but Max sliding below us, but. I'm surprised that Scott didn't call his timeout, but he knows his team better than we do,
right.
And we saw that quick response. They were able to get on the board there, and that they've really carried that momentum through the rest of that first period. And they've just had a bad time starting periods, as we just mentioned. But with this intermission, I expect them to come out with some more juice in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the third.
Yeah, New Trier obviously defeated Glenbrook North yesterday. Now they're up 2-1 on Loyola, which obviously wouldn't clinch anything, but would make it very difficult for anybody to catch them if they're able to put this one away in regulation. Now Loyola, on the other hand, didn't come out fast in either of the 2 periods like we talked about. I want to shift gears into goaltenders, kind of your expertise here. Both teams going with the goaltenders that have not played as much as the other goalies on their team. We've seen Paulie make some excellent saves. Smith at the end of that period was standing on his head. What have you liked in between the pipes tonight?
It's one of those things, too, with your nerves, right? The extra crowd, it's got a playoff-type atmosphere. It looked like Smith early felt a little shaky. It looked like he had a little bit of nerves, but, I mean, he settled down, like you mentioned, that last save. He's moving to his left, able to just snare out that right hand and keep his team within one goal. And then Paulie on the opposite side, he lets in a goal that he usually doesn't let in, and since then he's been a rock. So I'm excited to see his response in those whatever it was period and a half since Loyola got that goal. And one of those that goaltending, I mean, will always be the big difference in a big game like this. So I'm expecting the goalies to shine here in the third period as well.
Now let's talk a little bit about the whistle tonight. And it has been, I got to give the officials credit. We know how chippy it is, a lot of pushing and shoving after the whistle. But we've seen a few times that there are saves that look like they might be in the glove, might be a rebound opportunity, a quick whistle from the officials, and then the puck seems loose right there in the slot. Do you expect more of the same, and is there anything they can do to avoid situations like that?
I think in the situation where it was Smith, it looked like it hit his webbing, and as a ref, it's kind of a natural reaction to just blow your whistle there. So I think that one we can give the refs a little bit of a break on. The other one, I think it's just they lose sight of the puck, and they're moving so quickly where it's just their natural instinct. So definitely one of those where teams have in-game adjustments. I know the refs, they go in their locker room too, and they'll talk with each other. So that's something they'll probably talk about as well. But outside of that, I think they've officiated a great game. The physicality has been as high as you can be for a high school hockey game. They've let the players play, right? They haven't gotten in the way. The 2 penalties they did call in Loyola, I think you can't not call those, right?
Sure.
And unfortunately for the Ramblers, that led to the opening goal. But outside of that, I think the refs have done a great job tonight.
And physicality was kind of the next step that I wanted to bring this conversation to. Obviously, Max and I up here in the booth have kind of a bird's eye view, but you're down there on the glass seeing those hits at ice level. And we've seen some big disc skaters with a lot of bodies on the ice. and you're down there. Are you sensing some chirping, some pushing and shoving? What are you seeing down there?
Oh, a lot, right? It's one of those where I'm glad there's frigid temperatures outside because that's going to help with all the bruises the players are going to have in the morning. Where, I was down there right next to Smith in that second period, and there were 3 or 4 hits back to back to back. So, we talk about it's a rivalry game. You can tell these players care. I mean, look at all the fans there in the stands. It's how loud it's been throughout the night. So it's just one of those that I expect the physicality to even ramp up a little bit more as we get down to crunch time to finish this thing off.
Absolutely. It is one of the best rivalries in the state, featuring 2 of the best teams in the state. And the third period is next. Thanks for watching the Community Showcase on Marquee Sports Network. When we come back, Wes Anderson is going to talk with Coach Adam Cheris of New Trier. And don't go anywhere. The third period is coming right up.
Welcome back to Centennial Ice Rink, joined by Anthony Pasquale. I'm Max Anderson. Third period action about to get started in this huge rivalry game between New Trier Green and Loyola Gold. 2-1 New Trier after 2 periods, Anthony. It's been a hard-hitting affair. It was a fast start. Team settled in that second period. We had a scoreless second, 2-1 to start this third.
Yeah, now they're coming off a little bit of break to get their legs back under them. I'm expecting a high-flying start to the period from both teams. We'll just see who can touch the net first.
And for more on how they're going to look to hold on to victory here, we'll send it down to Wes Anderson, who's standing by with New Trier head coach Adam Cheris. Wes.
Coach, Paulie lets in that opening goal. Since then, he's been perfect. How have you liked his response to tonight's game?
Yeah, great response. He's had a fantastic season. Senior deserves this game. Has played some really great games for us this year. Yeah, a little pregame jitters, I guess, maybe, but outstanding sense. They're looking great. Very confident.
Nagget's back-to-back games with points. Just how have you liked how his games progressed in the last 3 or 4 games?
Yeah, we knew that he was something special coming into the year. Last probably 10 games, totally different player, just dominating everything he does. Very physical, great scoring ability, offensive and defensive. Love him.
Thanks, Coach. Go in the third.
You got it. Thanks.
Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Wes. You talk about nerves, and Anthony, it's one of the first things we talked about in this game is in an environment like this, with the game on TV, you got to settle in, and that first shot snuck by Paulie pretty quick.
Yeah, and it's also funny to think that first shot happened like 5-6 minutes into the game. That's how dominant New Trier started the game. Give some credit, too, to Loyola. Pearson Daverman able to snap that one over the shoulder to get Loyola back on track. They needed that goal. I don't even have the words to explain how much they needed it. And that's been the last time the puck has touched the net. So we're due for, I can almost guarantee you this game isn't going to finish 2-1.
It's been a game of streaky play. You talked about the streak that opened up the first period where New Trier is controlling everything. Loyola response. Second period opened up the same way. New Trier had the first 6 shots on goal in that second period. Loyola came right back with 6 straight shots on goal as well. These teams are going to keep throwing punches as we head into the third period.
Without a doubt, it's going to come down to who can absorb more punches. And, you know, like we're at the point in this game, it's a street fight. And we're going to see who comes out on top.
5 skaters, 2 goalies on the ice to start this third period. 17 minutes up on the clock. Fresh sheet of ice. And we are underway with 2 huge points in the Scholastic Hockey League on the line. Loyola trying to start quickly.
And like you said, there is a game's advantage for Loyola, so New Trier would have a chance to make it up. But in terms of points, these 2 teams would be tied if Loyola is able to pull off the comeback.
Their third matchup of the season. New Trier's won the first 2 of the season. Loyola tried to salvage this third game and prevent a Trevian sweep. Here's Orzakowski with speed and space. Fires a shot in just to test Paulie. Easily gloves that one.
I like that play from Loyola. We saw a lot of them passing, trying to create in the first 2 periods, but there you see just throwing one on net, and that's one of the things that you hear from a young age in this sport. Put the puck on net, good things will happen. Whether it's a rebound, whether it's a mistake from the goalie, whether it's a good shot, that's the only way to generate a goal.
Here's a shot from the point, misses the target. Harrison Miller not able to get it out of the zone. Sprung back in on Paulie, still loose around the crease, and able to swipe it away, but Loyola with a dangerous chance off the jump.
Yeah, good job by Nicky to not give up on the play, not once but twice, able to fire off some rebounds.
Now Harrison Miller again coming forward for the Trevians, looks for a centering pass but never gets there. Now loses his stick. Here's Pedraja. Pops out to Orzakowski. Now Tyler LaRue. Harrison Miller knocks it down, has to wait for his man to clear the zone. Drops it for Huber, just a little bit behind him. And Koenig rifles it back into the neutral zone. Well, a little bit slow in a change. Pedraja is going to try to move quickly. Cuts into the slot, shoots, fought off by Smith.
Nice shot, too.
Now Patrick Dine. Fluttered through the neutral zone. Finger. Andy Finger with the puck. He'll throw it up the ice. That misses everybody and goes for icing.
We've seen the period kind of start a little bit choppy for both teams. We got the fresh sheet of ice out there. Pucks bouncing a little bit, traveling a little bit faster. Already 2 icings here in the period. But you look, both teams here trying to get a little bit more sharper when it comes to those passes. A lot of these icings have been created from just passes that miss the stick. And we'll see which team cleans it up faster and if that results in a changing of the scoreboard.
14:40 left here in the third period. Oh, Yang loses an edge. Going to be a chance here for the Ramblers. Absorbing a big hit was Kading. Here's Connor Herstrit. Stops at the near circle, turns and shoots, but deflected. His brother Jack picks it up below the goal line. Now Nagget's ton of space, couldn't handle the puck. Follow up Herstrit, deflects wide. Kading trying to throw it off the glass, but kept in by Ouyang. Oh, he fumbles with it, and now Patrick Dine trying to break away. Nagget's quick to carry it, and the big hit dislodges the puck. Puck off the wall to Hyman. Now a space comes Chris Gall. Klein weaves his way towards the front of the net. Nice job to keep it in the zone by Orzechowski. Donato gets sandwiched as he tried to play the puck deep. Comes to Marino. On comes Nelson. His shot deflects to the far wall. Lejowski can't hold it in for Loyola. DeGroot breaks out for the Trevians. Here's Max DeGroot. Eventually taken away by Donato. This pace much more favorable Loyola. They'd like to see it slow down just a little bit more. Settled pace. The more this game opens up, the more it will benefit New Trier. Saw that large stretch of the second period, Anthony. This game got fast. Saw New Trier really put some of the pressure on.
Absolutely.
Here's Marino breaking it out of the New Trier zone. 2-on-2 he comes. Active stick by Anamoni. Directs it to the corner. Awkward collision as Daverman tries to win the puck back. LaRue able to get it on Daverman, out 2-on-1. LaRue instead opts for a shot as Daverman goes well high and wide.
Got the air ball chant from the student
They
section.
weren't wrong. Here's Luke Chu breaking free. Chu just over the crossbar. 11:40 to go. The next goal feels massive. Finger drops it down. Anamoni going to try to win it along the boards. Look, Nicky deciding where he should station. Comes to Finger at the near point. Dropped down by Finger. Chong trying to find it. Instead comes to Ethan Baker. A lot of commotion in front of the net right now as Luke Chu's trying to win possession in front of Declan Smith. Pops out, and finally Orzechowski going to be able to chip it out to the neutral zone. Klein trying to weave through traffic, but quickly Chong erases it. Connor McCauley not able to hold possession. Now Kading forces the turnover. McCauley the shot, blocked by the stick of Ouyang. One back by Kading, backhands it into the slot, but quickly steered aside by Pauly. Nicky gets turned around. New Trier wanted a delay of game as they thought that Nicky closed his hand on the puck. Not to be. Matt Klein. Kading sharp angle, and that puck clears all the way down ice for icing. We can take a breath.
We're without a whistle for quite a bit of time there. I want to go back a few plays ago and talk about the guy that Wes asked Coach Harris about, Nuggets, what he was able to do offensively. We've talked a lot about it. 2 goals last night against Glenbrook North, involved today in the scoring, but he broke up 2 odd man rushes with checks in the slot, doing it on both ends, and that's why his coach had such high praise for him in the intermission.
Off the half wall, Kading trying to play it in towards Pauly, able to win it right back. Bless her. Now Julian Gabal giving it chase in the corner. Nuggets gets it for New Trier, takes a big hit with 10 minutes to go. Again, that's going to be icing. So Loyola starting to tilt the ice a bit, put the pressure down here in the New Trier zone.
Yeah, Loyola's done a good job of generating pressure. They haven't gotten too much on goal. New Trier's done a good job of staying in those shooting lanes. But when you have New Trier, who we all agree is the best team in the state, icing the puck twice just to get a breather, you're doing something right on the offensive end.
Yeah, the pressure's starting to hit as Chris Gall takes the draw for Loyola. One, but fortunate bounce. The shot from Nelson, and able to swallow it is Pauly, but Cooper Nelson was lucring.
Yeah, that was another one that looked like maybe the whistle was blown a little bit too early. For a second, he had it up against the chest, and then it popped right out.
It's been a quick whistle all night. We've seen several saves and rebounds come out with the whistle coming from the referee. It's been quick both ways.
Yeah, Wes and I discussed that in the intermission, just thinking that it might be to avoid some of the pushing and shoving at the expiration of some of those plays.
Harrison Miller comes away with it. Now the Ramblers, Orzakowski, 3-on-2. Centers it, taking a shot from the slot and just high off the stick of Gall. One back by Orzakowski. Loyola really pressing now. Turns, fires, misses the target. Klein pinches, but it's Cooper Nelson that keeps it alive. Pedraja comes to support for the Trevians. Comes free Orzakowski. Man in the slot, McCauley gets a shot. Excuse me, that's Donato, who wanted the shot in the slot. Wasn't quite in his shooting position.
It would have been easier for a righty to handle that puck.
And another icing. Loyola searching for that game tire. You can see their bench imploring their guys to keep going.
And guys, Loyola's had a dominant last 2 or 3 minutes here, but something I've noticed, they've missed the net 2 or 3 times. They're trying to chase for that equalizer here late, or halfway through the third period. You've got to force Pauly to make every save that he can here. And as you mentioned too, Anthony, he's been giving out some rebounds as well, so maybe throw something on the pad and just go hard to the net and try to find that second goal.
Yeah, and it's a testament to how good Pauly's been that Loyola's trying so hard to get to some of those shelves, because if there's not traffic in front, he's probably going to make the save.
Herschritz, rink wide pass, just missing. Now finally New Trier going to be able to successfully get the puck into the Loyola zone after better part of 2.5 minutes where they were just icing it over and over. Blazowski gets pinned against the wall. Yeah, clipped out into the neutral zone by Declan Jones. Knight just a little bit too slow as he brought it into the zone and created the offside play.
It's crazy to think that already 7 minutes have expired off the clock here in the third period. The pace has slowed down a tiny bit, but there's been less whistles, which has resulted in that clock really winding down. Loyola has their work cut out for him.
Cross to Donato. Trying to break Daverman out. Flipping it in the zone. Dwyer. Here's Dwyer on the doorstep. He gets a shot. Backdoor. Not able to get a piece of it. Was Blazowski. Now Matt Klein. His shot's blocked out. Jack Herstrit all alone on the breakaway. Herstrit to his forehand off the post. Oh, so close to the game's third goal, but we'll keep playing it 2-1. Remember that play as we move along.
Can we give our save of the game to a red piece of iron?
And, of course, coming later on, our save of the game brought to you by Wintrust. Herschrit trying a centering pass. Yang has his pocket picked. Now the Ramblers trying to move quickly. If they do, they can be 2-on-1. Here's Connor McCauley. Pulls to his forehand. He scores! Connor McCauley from an impossible angle ties the game.
It is mayhem here at Centennial Ice Rink. A sharp angle shot, and Connor McCauley going to celebrate with his Loyola Ramblers classmates. Tarps off here at Centennial.
7:10 to go, and we've got a tie game.
Couldn't ask for anything better.
You're going to see him pull it all the way to the goal line, and it just beats Paulie 5-hole. And the reaction from the Loyola bench.
For any Chicago hockey fan, that play closely resembles the game winner from Patrick Kane in the 2010 Stanley Cup.
Came right up the wing from, he wasn't more than 6 inches short of the goal line when he let that shot loose. I just don't think Paulie was expecting it. Loyola trying to come right back and find the game winner.
The momentum pendulum has really shifted in Loyola's favor.
It's been about 5 minutes now straight of Loyola dominating play. Kading can't quite handle. Gabal turns and fires. Now Blesser behind. Again from a sharp angle. That didn't miss by much. Tyler LaRue keeping it in at the near point. Flips it back towards the goal. Slowed down by Marino. Kading will drop it back below the goal. Hutchin avoids a hit. And Marino's got some space to clear the zone. DeGroot, long stretch pass, finding his brother. DeGroot on his offhand, trying to force it into the front of the net, not able to get there. This puck deflects into the New Trier bench. 6:02 to go.
Anthony, you highlighted it too, that the shot that Herstrid had that hit off the post, how big is that now? It could have been 3-1. Loyola comes right back the other way and ties things up. You got to know Connor Herstrid is wishing he had that one back.
Sometimes it's just a couple of inches that can be the difference. Pickpocketed, now breakaway chance for Chu. Klein coming over, Chu! Blocked away by Smith to keep Loyola level. And rifled down by Chris Gall.
Declan Smith has gone over 2 periods now without allowing that goal. They held the initial rush, and he has been standing on his head for the better part of this hockey game.
He has kept his team in it. They got the equalizer. Can they find the go-ahead? Two top 5 teams in the state going at it. Bitter rivals. Campus is separated by just a quarter of a mile. Many of these guys grew up playing with each other in front of a packed house here at Centennial. Bluff shot from Donato. Couldn't get much on it. Chong slows it down. Now Matt Klein turns. Can't quite get it deep as Luke Chu takes over for the Trevians. Here's Pedraja. He's got a step on his man. Cuts into the slot. Gets tripped up. No call. Trevians faithful want one. They're not going to get one. Here's Pedraja. Settling action for the Trevians. Donato intercepts in the neutral zone. Nelson fires it in. And why not? After the issue that Paulie had in the first period. Dine now in a battle along the near boards. Rifle up the wall. Yang takes over for the Trevians. Rink wide, just misses Miller. So Dine able to volley it right back. Now good touch play, backhanded shot, fought off by off the post and not in. Is Paulie trying to stay alive, and now he's having some issues. He might be in some pain. He might be hurt as a shot comes in, and Paulie gloves it. Oh, my word, what is happening?
I don't know if he blew a tire there or what, but
That I've never seen
never
that before.
seen anything like that. Let's take another look at the initial rush.
He gets hit for sure.
Blesser crashed into him. He's able to get back up to his feet, hanging onto the post, and then slips again. Let's see if we have the replay of when he just flings this shot out of the air.
My
that was
goodness.
awesome. I wonder what it is. He looks to be okay.
It's not his skate. His skates look all right. He's seriously testing out his lower body, getting some stick taps from his teammates. Wes, you had a front row view to that one.
Yeah, guys, he made a great right pad save. Three saves, actually. The initial save, right pad save, and they got a blocker, and then the puck hit the pipe is what you saw, Max. And I can't tell if it's a cramp or a groin. You see he's testing out, going down in the butterfly, but I'll go over to the neutral bench and see if I can get any info from head coach Adam Cheris and keep you guys updated.
We really only had that view from the back that showed it, but that is quite the picture of Paulie on his back, and I think the referee was about to blow the whistle anyway. It would have been interesting because he didn't blow the whistle because he caught it. It was right as it was going into his glove. I don't think that's why he was blowing the whistle. That would have been something.
Max, they looked like him and the ref and Paulie were having a conversation, so I think that might have got blown dead if it came to it.
What a controversy that would have been instead of a fun highlight.
It sure would have been.
3:35 to go. Drama abound. Here's Nagitz. Makes one-man miss. Rink wide pass Miller. Dine trying to catch up to it. He does. Miller in the corner. A hard-fought, tough win for these Trevians last night. Another tight one here tonight. You wonder how much they've got left in the tank. Here's Lochnicki. Now Orzakowski. Now Matt Klein, his shot just over the crossbar. Comes back to Klein at the point. He shoots it towards Paulie. Gets deflected to the corner. Another hit. And Nagitz a little bit slow to get up as Lochnicki gave him a couple of checks.
Lochnicki and Nagitz were going back and forth down here on the near side boards. A couple of hits delivered, one after another. Each player getting their fair share of action.
Here's Matt Klein up from his defensive spot. Trying to shield the puck. He'll drop it below. Find Jack Dwyer. Instead, it's Hipsch. These two teams desperately trying to find the game winner here in the last 2.5. Now Hyman. Active stick from Klein. Sends it back out to the neutral zone. Here's Blazowski. The back check of Herstrit dislodges it and goes into the glove of Paulie. And if you're Loyola, you gotta be thinking to pepper Paulie as much as you possibly can here. Not quite sure if he's 100%. Certainly gunning out, and you could see during this pause too, you just saw him kind of stretch out that leg again.
And I think if you're Loyola too, you would love to get this game over in regulation, because New Trier, with all that extra space that comes in overtime, is a much more dangerous weapon. But you look at Loyola, they've dominated this period.
Shot from the point. Paulie swallows it once more, as Anthony alluded to. Should we need overtime here in high school hockey in the SHL? It is 3-on-3 for 5 minutes. And then should that go scoreless, it is a one-round shootout, sudden death shootout. So if that's your kind of thing, we're 2 minutes and 6 seconds away for a possible overtime. Max Kading on the draw for Loyola, Luke Chu for New Trier. Draw won by the Trevians. Marino tries to play it up the boards. Chu comes to support, and he'll be able to play it out. Chong, rink wide. Garrett Chong looks, puts it on goal. Sticked aside by Declan Smith. Back to the point, Marino, and it takes a fortunate bounce out of the zone for Loyola. Baker's got to reset. Chu, backhand, somehow gets all the way across. Loyola not able to get it out. Kept in at the point by Hipsch. Hipsch, nice move to his backhand in the slot. Shoots, right pad save, follow-on chance. Puck still loose and cleared. What a save by Declan Smith, and now he's slow to get up.
that rush from New Trier felt like a power play. That's why Loyola was able to just clear it down once they got
this
possession.
This follow save, I don't think he saw it. That is all positional because he's got all kinds of traffic in front of him. Great look at it right there from the goalie cam. And brought to you by New Trier Hockey Club. Big thank you to them.
Similar to on the other end, we saw just an awkward kind of fall forward after the play. It looks like he's all right.
Off the draw and a snatch glove save by Declan Smith.
Yeah, he's all right. Another glove save from Declan Smith. Look at this right glove flashing the leather.
Ethan Baker wins the draw for the Trevians, just to the right of Declan Smith, but it's Lachnicki that's able to win possession, and then he's forced off the puck by Nagats. He wanted a interference call. He's not going to get one with 1:10 left. Baker plays it out of the zone, and once again icing, so Loyola starting to put the pressure back into the New Trier zone.
It's felt like for, say, 15 minutes of this period that the ice has been tilted in Loyola's favor. Down at goaltender Mark Pauly from New Trier. He's made the saves. It's a tie game here, 2-2.
You have to be a lip reader to read Scott Sorallo's lips there. How is that not an interference is what he said. Referee, I'm sure, said something to the effect of, not at this point, Scott, sorry. We're going to keep playing 5-on-5 hockey. Connor McCauley on the draw. And it's Hans Huber that escorts it out of the zone for New Trier. Deflects it up into the ceiling, and we'll have a neutral zone draw.
And you guys, you talked about how dominant Loyola's been in this third period. 12 shots already here in the third. Pauly only giving up that one as we look like we're going to head into OT here.
Center ice draw. Possession taken by Matt Klein. He'll play it deep. Send Orzakowski in on the forecheck. Pops back to Donato at the point. Played along. As Orzakowski tried to draw it, he couldn't. Hans Huber pulling on Donato. Loyola looking for another penalty that they won't get. .25 to go. Nagats waiting for it at the point. Instead, Hutchin turns around, plays it below the goal. Taken away by Donato and into the neutral zone. Loyola going to try to make one more rush up the ice with 6 to go here in the period. 3 to go, and we are headed to overtime. What other way would you have it?
Overtime on a school night, there's nothing better.
And some pushing and shoving after. So again, to reset, overtime will be 3-on-3 hockey for 5 minutes. The two teams will switch sides, so it'll be the long change, just like the second period. And should we expire that 5 minutes, we will head to a sudden death shootout, meaning only one round opposed to the NHL style. So that's the reset here as we set into overtime. And you got to think the way New Trier had to grind last night to get that 3-2 win over GBN, maybe a slight edge to Loyola here in this overtime.
Yeah, and just momentum-wise, you have to give a slight edge to Loyola just because of how dominant they were for the majority of that third period. They were excellent in that third period. And you see Declan Smith on the bench getting a much-needed rest and a drink of water. And some of the other goaltenders are coming up and talking to him. It looks like Joseph Kraft giving him a little bit of a pep talk here before this overtime period. But, man, Loyola did everything they could except take the lead in that third period. To be fair, New Trier does get a little bit of a rest here, and they have that speed advantage, but momentum is certainly in Loyola's favor.
And you think about the start to this game for Declan Smith, 2 goals. I think on the first 3 or 4 shots, I'd have to go back and double check. And since then, he has been magnificent for Loyola. After trailing 2-0, they got one back midway through the first. And then in the third period, from a sharp angle, was the sophomore Connor McCauley tying it for Loyola. 2-2 our score, 5 minutes going up on the clock.
And Sam is into it.
Public address announcer Sam Schwartz getting the people revved up. We are at 10:30, past some people's curfew, I'm sure. Don't tell anybody here that. 3-on-3 hockey, overtime underway. Hipsch carries it in for New Trier. Possession paramount in these 3-on-3 overtimes. These teams will do everything they can to control the puck. As a hush comes over the crowd. Luke Chu. Ethan Baker, back to Hipsch. Man-to-man, one-on-one, across the board. Hipsch circling, and he'll just carry it out.
That's what I was going to say. You see a lot of that here in the overtime periods. You don't want to give up an odd man rush, so you take it where the puck is safe. The pace of the game slows down exponentially here on 3-on-3.
Baker carries it in for the Trevians. Chong picks it up at the point. Now Baker with space. Baker shoots. Oh, what a glove save, Smith!
Hello, Wintrust. That is our save of the game. Look at that from Declan Smith. Wow.
That is an easy giveaway. Our Wintrust save of the game. Right there, folks. Declan Smith, incredible. You see the reaction of his teammates. Can't believe it to keep his side alive.
Forget the butterfly from the seat of his pants. Declan Smith, wow.
Herschritt gets it across. One-timer, another save. Unbelievable. Donato now trying to break out for Loyola. And we'll take a breath.
Now that is our Wintrust save of the game.
It just keeps adding up. Here's Donato. Trying to force his way to the front of the net. Nagets sandwiching him the entire time and gives him a little shove after. They're all tied up. Sticks are tied up. And it's 2-on-2. Across. Herschritt couldn't handle and cleared. The chaos of 3-on-3 overtime. Back and forth we go. And now Donato gives Nagets a bit of a push after as well. On comes Chu, top of the circle. Chu drags, another save. Declan Smith continues to stand on his head.
Guys, save after save. 31 in yellow tonight has played an absolutely outstanding game. Max, you alluded to it earlier. He gave up 2 goals on 4 shots. Since then, over 27 straight saves for the netminder for the Ramblers.
Face-off draw, possession taken by Blazejowski. And now Connor McCauley, the sophomore, in a big moment, ripped down to the ice by Hutchin, and he gets some help. It'll be cleared back into the New Trier zone. The tense, calm, uneasy comes over the crowd with 2:50 to go. Jack Herschritt with the puck. Dine cuts off his angle. Herschritt looking for an outlet. Dine with him every step of the way. Herschritt wiggles free. Herschritt, the shot just missing the target. Now McCauley, that's going to lead a breakout. Here comes Connor McCauley. On his offhand, he'll circle about. Blazejowski wants the puck top of the far circle. And he'll come back out into the neutral zone. Oh, and he mishandles the puck. Jack Herschritt very nearly in a center ice in breakaway. Matt Klein gets on the ice for Loyola. Now Blazejowski going to carry it out and give it to Matt Klein. Hipsch, Klein, numerical counterparts play. Arriving now, Jack Dwyer. Dwyer, patient with the puck behind the goal. And again, we'll calmly carry it back out to neutral ice.
Loyola's gotten a little bit too relaxed on some of these breakouts. Oh, New Trier's almost taking them away.
Chong with a quick change. Puck across, but it was behind Klein, and that almost led to a breakout for the Trevians. Final 90 seconds. Klein with a hot pass, and Jack Dwyer wasn't expecting it. Loyola student section chants MVP for Declan Smith, no question about it. Couple of fresh bodies now on the ice for the Ramblers. Stretch pass, they've got an angle. Here's Connor McCauley. McCauley's shot, gloved and iced down by Pauly.
McCauley took a huge push after the whistle. Oh, another one. That's got to be a penalty. Ethan Baker just leveled Connor McCauley after the whistle.
And these linesmen are doing everything they can to separate. They don't want to have to call a penalty here. I'm of the mind of if it's a penalty in any other circumstance, you should call it. But
let's take a look.
Frankly, really good officiating to get between them and not have this decided on a power play OT. And there's still a conversation between Connor McCauley.
Yeah, there you see it at the top of your screen there. McCauley was leveled.
These two teams, a rivalry is the understatement of the hour with 59 seconds to go in overtime. Another instant classic chapter to this rivalry. It never disappoints. Luke Chu with the puck off the draw. Goes rink wide for Nuggets. Orzechowski there is able to force the turnover. He'll carry it back out for possession. Donato settles for the Ramblers. Now Matt Klein. Two defensemen and a forward out there for Loyola, but Matt Klein can certainly double as an offensive player at times. Almost a breakaway for Connor Hirschritt in the final 30. Matt Klein settles for Orzechowski. Orzechowski almost mishandles in front of the goal. Here's Matt Klein. Donato in front of his own bench. Tries to get to Klein in front. Trickles into the glove of Pauling while the whistle with 11.5 to go.
This overtime period has been filled with everything you ask for. The physicality, the energy, the response from the crowds. Both goaltenders standing tall in between the pipes. The only thing we're missing is the go-ahead goal.
11.5 to go. Draw's going to come to the left of Pauly. Julian Gabal and Ethan Baker. Gabal won it, but weren't able to get possession as Blazjowski didn't want to risk it, and that's going to be offsides. 4.8 to go.
4.8 to go here. Now Loyola is going to just try to win this draw and keep the puck out of harm's way. New Trier might try to get on the offensive and try to win the draw and get a quick shot off to Declan Smith. Otherwise, we're looking at a sudden death shootout.
4.8 to go. Draw just outside the zone of Loyola. Just like you said, Anthony, Loyola's able to win it. Final seconds tick off, and we are headed to a shootout.
Fitting way, we spent 3 periods plus of hockey trying to decide a winner, and this game has been so evenly matched. It's going to come down to some head-to-head battles between some of the best skaters in the state against 2 of the best goaltenders the state has to offer.
So one more reminder, this is a sudden death shootout, meaning 1 round. The home side gets to decide whether they shoot first or second.
I've kind of noticed the trend to be that the home team decides the road team to shoot first. So when they shoot, they know if they need to score or if a score wins the game.
And it looks like that's what's going to be the case. I think you see Pearson Daverman already stalking that center ice dot. One thing to keep in mind, both goalies had physical encounters in that third period and overtime that had them both a bit shaken up, both within the lower body. So in this shootout, something you have to keep in mind.
And it's just poetic. Both teams are going to be skating toward the end of the ice that their student body is representing as well. So you can bet that any goal is going to be met with an intense celebration on the boards.
It will be Pearson Daverman taking the first shootout opportunity.
Already a goal tonight. He shot it from just near the blue line. I'm sure he's going to get a little bit closer here.
Everybody on their feet. Daverman trying to be the hero. Daverman, his forehand, shoots, big save, Pauly.
Another nice save by Pauly. We've been saying it all game long. Now here skates out Ethan Baker. He'll have an opportunity with the game on his tape. Let's see what he can do with it.
Ethan Baker Huge game last night against GBN. Adam Cheris, can't say enough good things about him every single day. Here he comes. Ethan Baker trying for the sweep against Loyola. Plays it slow. The backhand just over the crossbar. We'll head to round 2.
Ethan Baker went with that really slow, methodical attempt. Got to the backhand, had a little bit of a lane to work with, but just lifted it too high over that crossbar, Max.
Now it's Anthony Donato's turn. Can he put Loyola ahead in the shootout? Donato comes up the slot. Forehand, shoots, stick save, Pauly. We go to the bottom of the second scoreless.
Another really nice save by Pauly. I think it's interesting that Scott Serralo elected to go with Donato, who is a defenseman, but I think it's just a testament to his stick skills.
As I look at a replay, was that the stick or the crossbar that hit? Regardless, it didn't go in. Harrison Miller now. Can he be the hero for the Trevians? Looking to go 3 for 3 against Loyola. Miller not able to get a shot off. We'll head to the third.
Miller was trying to bring that from the backhand to the forehand at the last second and just lost control. Good on goaltender Declan Smith to keep his stick down. Otherwise, that would have just slid in. A nice save made by Smith.
Gavin Orzakowski steps up for Loyola. He circles and takes. Orzakowski. Pauly comes out on top of his crease. Orzakowski shoots. He scores! Loyola takes the lead in the shootout.
Beautiful shot there from Orzakowski, and it all comes down to Pauly coming out of his net to cut down the angle. Then once he picked up speed, Pauly was in no man's land, not close enough to the crease. Fired it right beyond.
Declan Smith has been the hero for Loyola all night long. Can he do it one more time? Dylan Hyman for New Trier. Can he equalize? Hyman up the slot. Backhand. Big save. Smith. Loyola wins.
Once again, Declan Smith standing on his head, able to do whatever he can to help Loyola win this game. It's a rivalry game, so you win the game, you want to go celebrate with your fans, right? Wrong. They go right to the board to the opposing students, give New Trier on their home ice a stunning loss to tie things up atop the SHL standings.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back with our post-game interviews after this on Marquee Sports Network.
Thanks for coming out and joining us for tonight. Travel home safely. Good night.
Welcome back on Marquee Sports Network as the rink starts to clear out. We will send you down to ice level where Wes Anderson standing by with a gutsy goaltender and a victorious head coach as part of our Loyola Academy postgame interview, a tradition of excellence. Wes, take it away.
Thanks, guys. Coach, you guys go down 2-0 early. What was the message to your team after that second neutral goal?
We knew that they were going to throw everything at us early, and they just ran out of gas, and we took it to them. But what I really want to talk about is this guy right here. This time last year, his knee was torn up, and he had a brace on it the size of me. And to see where he's come in the past year is just incredible. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him.
You're able to get the monkey off your back. They beat you in the first 2 games. You're able to close it out here tonight. How are you looking to build on this win as you head into state and the SHL playoffs?
We needed this for confidence. This was the only team that we haven't beaten in our league, and now we've beaten them, so we know we can beat anybody, and we're playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Now on to you. You gave up 2 goals on the first 4 shots. You came back with over 28 consecutive saves. You had a huge glove save in that overtime to keep your team in the game. What was going through your mind throughout this entirety of the game?
You know, just on to the next one. Teammates, coaches believe in me so much. You know, I give it up to them, you know. When I'm losing, I'm doing bad, I just think about my teammates, you know, the guys next to me.
Now, it's one of the biggest rivalries, you guys versus New Trier in this state. Just what does it mean to not only you guys, but the school to beat your rivalry here tonight on Marquee Sports Network?
You know, last year they got the best, or last game they got the best of me, and I just like come out here and play. You know, like this is an audition for playoffs, really. So it means a lot to me, you know.
Yeah, go catch your breath. Great game tonight.
Thanks.
Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Wes. Great work all game long. Declan Smith, a gutsy performance for Loyola. At one point looked like he might have been a little bit injured as well, but Anthony, he toughed it out, and boy, did he gut it out for his team.
He certainly did, and you talk about flashing the leather. He did it in that third period as good as any goaltender we've seen so far this year. An excellent game from him, fitting that he's the podium guy at the end of this game, and really gave everything he had for Loyola to get this win.
He really did. That will do it for us here from Centennial Ice Rink. Thank you so much for tuning in with us on Marquee Sports Network as part of the Chicago Wolves Community Showcase. All of us here at J&M Media are a great crew. We had Gerard Boris as our assistant technical engineer, Luke Jordan, our clock operator, of course, Jimmy the Wiz Olsen getting it done as he always does, all the angles, the replays. Great work by him as always. Wes Anderson down at ice level. That's Anthony Pasquale. I'm Max Anderson. Thank you so much for tuning in with us here on Marquee Sports Network. Have a great rest of your night.